Hey everyone, welcome back to the Thundertron podcast. So today I'm going to be discussing and giving you my thoughts on the recently revealed Transformers Legacy United Armada Universe Titan class Tidal Wave. Now before we get into my thoughts and all the information that we have on this figure right now, please leave your thoughts on this figure in the comment section down below. Is it a pickup or a pass? Now getting into the basic information, the release date is July 15th, 2024. So if you did pre-order the Commander class Magmatron, also part of the Legacy United line, we should be getting the Commander class and the Titan class around the same time. As for the price, it is $200. Yes, you heard that right. It is a very hefty price tag, so do keep that in mind if you do want this character or figure. I'd advise to plan ahead of time because, of course, you might want other figures in the future or coming out soon, and you might want to save some money or set some money aside for other figures you might want soon. So keep that in mind if you want this figure because it is very, very expensive. But taking a look at the packaging, I'm going to try and put as many pictures and images of this figure and the box up on your screen so you can see it for yourself. But starting off with the packaging, it's the typical Titan class box where there is no open window showing off the figure. It's all artwork, which some people don't like that. I actually do because they can put some amazing artwork on there. I actually don't like how they changed that for the leader classes. If you don't know, for the most recent leader classes, the G2 Laser Optimus Prime repack and the new Beast Wars Tiger Hawk, of course, they used to be just like the Titan classes where it was all artwork. They actually removed that, and there's now an open window, which I actually personally really don't like that. So I hope they don't do the same for the Titan classes. I hope they keep it like this, where the entire box is just artwork, because I think it looks really good. But kind of getting into the details, of course, it's an image or artwork shot of Tidal Wave, and it's really cool. He's like standing up in the ocean. There's some crashing waves. We do have Transformers on the side. We do have the Legacy United logo, as we typically see with figures packaging in this line. We actually do have three small images or product shots on the opposite side of that Transformers text. We have three small images of his boat mode. So if you don't know, Tidal Wave transforms into his typical classic military warship type boat mode, and it can actually separate or split into three separate boat modes, which I'll actually discuss my thoughts on that in just a sec. I just wanted to mention there's some images of those boats on the front of the box as well. And of course, right below those images, we actually do have the name or the text of the figure. So it does say Armada Universe Titan class Tidal Wave, as it usually does with most figures. And if you do look close enough, there's actually some small Autobots or Transformers attacking Tidal Wave. Of course, we don't know what specific characters or figures of who these people are, what Autobots they are. They do look like Autobots to me. I'm not sure if Hasbro just kind of made up some characters, and just slapped them on the box, or maybe these are kind of foreshadowing of some characters we could be getting in the future Legacy United line. I really don't know. I'm not very familiar with any of these designs. They're just so small. Maybe they just made them up, or they could be kind of foreshadowing some figures to come. But taking a look at the back of the box, there's actually quite a bit to discuss. So there is a proc shot of his road mode, his base mode, his boat mode, and the three separate pieces that can split from that boat mode. And there's also some images of the pieces that can attach onto the Armada Universe Megatron and the Armada Universe Galvatron that will most likely be getting very soon a part of this Legacy United line. So if you don't know, we will probably be getting a repaint of that previous leader class from Legacy Evolution, the Armada Universe Megatron. We're probably just going to get a straight up repaint of that figure into Galvatron, because in the Armada show, that was pretty much all that was changed. Just a brand new deco. It's much more darker colors, much more kind of gunmetal gray and purple. We'll probably be getting that figure, because I actually have to say, if you don't know, if you do look at the back of the box, there should be an image up on your screen right now, but at one of the top corners, there's actually a very small product shot showing off that inevitable repaint of Armada Megatron into Galvatron. So I think this is actually our very first look at Armada Galvatron. I'm not really that surprised or excited because, of course, we knew it was going to happen long before we saw this image. I do have to say it's not the best proc shot because it's a very small one. The render is not very good. It's kind of hard to see, but it does show Armada Galvatron displayed with those pieces from Tidal Wave, and most likely you can do the same feature or gimmick with Megatron if you don't want to get that Galvatron repaint. So This pretty much confirms that we will be getting a Galvatron at some point, probably pretty soon, maybe in Legacy United Wave 2 or 3 at some point in 2024. But also, as for the steps, it does take 23 steps to transform Tidal Wave from his robot mode to his base mode, and it takes 10 steps to transform all the separate boat pieces into the boat. And interesting enough, it does not say the number of steps it takes to transform Tidal Wave into his boat mode. Usually they show the number of steps for all of the 3 main modes or 2 main modes, really just depends on what Titan class it is, but it doesn't say anything about how many steps it takes to transform the robot mode into the boat mode or the base mode into the boat mode. So we'll really just have to wait and see. We'll have to get that instruction booklet and then we'll find out. But that is pretty much it for the packaging. Now, starting off with the robot, I'm not going to spend that much time on the robot because I actually already did do a previous Thundertron podcast segment discussing my thoughts on this figure already, and we had some pretty good images and some pretty good shots of the robot mode, so I really don't have a lot to discuss. I'm really just going to be kind of restating what I said before. I think I'm mostly going to talk about the alt modes because we really didn't have that good of a look at it before when I was making that previous Thundertron podcast segment, but I think it looks really good. I think it looks absolutely amazing. Truth be told, I'm probably going to display Tidal Wave in his boat mode because I think that's probably my favorite aspect or just look of Tidal Wave in general. I always thought it was so cool that he transformed into this massive military boat kind of warship. I thought that was the coolest thing. So I do like the robot mode, but I'm probably going to display it in his boat mode if I have a good place to put it. But I like it. I think it looks really good. I love the dark purple, the gunmetal gray, the silver, the 4 huge kind of turrets or cannons on his chest, a very classic iconic trait of the figure. I just like the head sculpt with the really cool kind of transparent kind of purplish pink lights on his forehead or kind of his crest section there. Just overall so impressed, and there doesn't seem to be like any kibble. It seems very well filled in. There's no extra panels. I do know that was one major complaint of the previous Titan class, the Nemesis. There's quite a few access and extra panels on her arms, and people didn't like that. Some people thought, I'm just going to remove them and put them in a box. Some people thought, I'm just going to cut them off or just up and remove them altogether, and people did not like the amount of extra panels on that figure, and it appears this one did a much better job at that. Now, taking a look at the warship alt mode, I think it looks just so cool. I'm not sure how big it's going to be. I think it is going to be quite massive and large because, of course, it's going to be fully stretched. I mean, it's pretty much taking Tidal Wave and pretty much putting it flat to the ground, so it's going to be very massive. I do hope it can fit in my collection. I already have a couple ideas where I can put this warship. It's just it might be a bit too big for those spots I've picked out. I just hope it fits there, but I love all the turrets. I do love the massive guns and cannons and the really cool kind of fins at the back, and I do love all the overlapping panels. I like how those 3 separate sections, even though they can split apart, it still looks like a whole solid piece when it's combined together. It looks like it can't even separate. It looks like it's one solid piece, which is super cool. And yeah, just all around, just really impressed. Now, talking about the base mode, I have to say, not my favorite. I don't think it looks very good. I think the Titan classes, in my opinion, have had one continuous problem from the past several years of Titan classes is the base mode is never very good. Of course, there is some Titan classes that never do have a base mode, like the Nemesis, the Arc. They never had a base mode, but they did one sort of with Metroplex. They did one with Scorponok, and they've done some with some others in the past, and they just never turn out really good. They always seem like an afterthought to me, which I think is fine. Of course, they were obviously going to focus on his robot mode. That's the most obvious choice to do because most people are going to display it in that mode. That makes sense. I do understand, but honestly, I think it was really just a waste of money and time to do this base mode. I do know why they wanted to do it because typically I'd say about 9 out of the 10 times or most of the time with Titan classes, they usually do have 3 modes. It's very rare that it's not. So So I understand they wanted to keep that trend or that pattern going, but I think it would have been smart if they just scrapped the base mode and just put all their time and attention into the robot and into the boat alt mode, because it's going to be kind of a shame if we get this figure, and I think it's going to turn out great, but it's going to be kind of a shame if we get it and there's a few kind of small problems that could have been easily fixed if they just didn't waste their time on that third mode. That's just my opinion anyway. I really don't like the base mode that much. It's just okay. I might transform it like one time for the review and probably never again, because I just don't like the look of it that much. But it's a good inclusion, but if I had a choice, I would have just scrapped it altogether. I'm assuming maybe it's compatible with some modulators and some of those connectors, because in the past, whenever they have a base mode, like with Scorponok and Metroplex, they actually make them compatible with those modulators and those Battlemasters from Earthrise. I'm not sure if that's still an option with this figure here, but it does show a few images of the separate boat pieces. Again, I do quite like that feature. I think that's really cool. Maybe if you don't have a ton of space, like me, if you do want to display the boat mode in your collection and you can't fit the whole thing, maybe if you split it into 3 separate pieces, you could do it that way. So that's a nice option. And yeah, that's really all it is. I already did mention the feature with Armada, Megatron, and Galvatron. There's actually no images showing off those separate pieces and how it works. So we really have yet to discover how that's actually going to work. We're probably going to have to wait for a review or for the figure to actually be released. There has been some rumors that it's going to be kind of like the Titans Return Titan classes, where there's like a figure inside a figure, like, Fortress Maximus, his head transformed into a separate figure. Scorponok, his head transformed into a separate figure. So people are thinking maybe there's going to be like a smaller tidal wave inside tidal wave, and that's how that works for Galvatron and Megatron, but we'll just have to wait and see on that. But overall, very, very impressed. Really, my only complaint is the base mode just didn't turn out that good. But honestly, I'm not that bothered by it, because we got a really good robot mode and we got a really good base boat mode. So I have no complaints there. Let me know your thoughts on this figure in the comment section down below. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.